We got free agency frenzy going on. So I thought I would do a live stream, rapid reaction, get some live stream things going here. Talk about all of the good stuff that's going on right now in the NFL free agency, maybe for the next hour or so. I'm gonna have my headphones on because I'm gonna be listening to the radio to get some information. I've got my Twitter here, and actually maybe what I should do is I should get my tablet. Let me get my tablet so that then I can see more. I got NFL Network coming on. ESPN wants to get through with this stupid ass basketball. They'll do the NFL show hopefully, and I have the ESPN on. So all of this will be ready. So I have news for you guys as you're watching me, so that I can break it down for you. There's already been some big things going on down. I mean, the biggest thing probably is that the Houston Texans have traded Brock Osweiler to the Cleveland Browns. And what seems to be even more crazy is that now the Cleveland Browns are thinking about releasing him. I don't get that. If you traded for him, only for the second round, you could have made a second round pick anyway. That's just, I don't know what are you thinking about? So, it's just, so more breaking news as we've heard earlier. The Miami Dolphins made a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars for Julius Thomas. We heard about that maybe a week or so ago that was going to happen, and it's been made official since the start of free agency. So a lot of things going on right now in the world of the NFL, and this is going to be some great stuff going on over the next couple of days. Dre Kirkpatrick, cornerback of the Cincinnati Bengals, has decided to stay in Cincinnati. So that's I think that's a good thing for Cincinnati because I think their defense is good enough, to go with that offense. I'm a believer in Andy Dalton because I think Andy Dalton and AJ Green and Tyler Eifert, that they have a great offensive passing attack. And I think the two running backs, Giovanni Bernard and oh my god, the other one, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But I think that's a good 1-2 punch they have in the backfield. I think they can make it into the playoffs each and every year. They didn't do it this past year. I have no idea why. Everybody was off, but I think they'll be back in the playoffs next year. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I didn't want to go there. I want to go back to Twitter. Some more things. Deshaun Jackson signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Alshon Jeffrey apparently signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. And what he's going to do is that he's going to bank on himself so that next year he can get that truly big money and become maybe one of the best players, best receivers in the game. Per Ian Rappaport, the Browns are planning on cutting Brock Osweiler. It makes no sense. I have no idea what the Browns. What are you doing? You wanted that second round pick so bad that you trade for a quarterback and then you just cut him. That makes no sense whatsoever. It does not. Makes no sense whatsoever. But then again, they're the Browns, right? They are the Browns. I need to pull up my Yahoo. I need to put up not my Yahoo thing, but I need to put up my YouTube chat so I can see what's going on. If there's anything going on in the chat room. But let's see. We heard from the last couple of days as well. Brandon Marshall got cut by the Jets. He's going to stay in New York to play with the Giants. For a guy whose generation never made the playoffs, never made the New York Giants. If people want to make excuses, then they still want to make excuses for him. I don't care what kind of offensive line he had, what kind of receivers he had. When you trade 2 first-round picks for a guy, he should make everybody better. And he didn't. He made nobody better. And it's God, bye-bye. Good riddance. See you later. Just go. Man. Looking through here, Buffalo Bills restructured Tyrod Taylor's contract, and that was a really interesting one, I thought, because he was supposed to be making like 20 some $million or something like that, if he would have stayed, but they restructured his contract actually, so that was good, and so I was glad to see because I think Tyrod Taylor has some talent. I think he does have some talent, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's worth 27 million. But they restructured his contract, so that was good. Um, and there's so many other things here too. Like I said, I'm gonna have my earphones on just to hear some, in case some other things come across the radio. I got my tablet here for Twitter. I mean, because these things are gonna come fast and furious, I should say. So, like I said, I'm gonna have my earphones on just to hear some, in case some other things come across the radio. Hear myself. I got my tablet here for Twitter. All right. So I mean, mute. Thank you. So Alexander Riley put up in the chat. Ben Logan Ryan goes to the Titans. Hightower to the Pats. Amukamura is better than Kirkpatrick. Bengals offensive line has just decimated. Zettler and Whitworth gone. They were the two best offensive players. Probably the best player is AJ Green. The Browns played for a second round pick. They didn't care about the player. It does make sense. Well, you know what? Maybe it does make sense. I don't know. I guess just for me, I would say you could have like gone. You did something else for the second round pick than just pick up, because that's a lot of money, right? I know that they get like $99 some million in the cap room, but why just take on the cap money and release the player? Go ahead and use him. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that he was good. He played bad last year. There's no question. But the year before, when he came in for Peyton Manning, he played okay. He played pretty well. He even beat the New England Patriots in the snow in an overtime game. So I think he has some talent. I don't know about, so I just don't know. I think you're right about the offensive line of the Bengals. I think Whitworth is getting a little older, and and now with both of them gone, that could make their offensive line very that can make the offensive line very shaky for Andy Dalton to get the ball to AJ Green. We'll have to see what they do in the draft. Maybe they get some offensive linemen to replace them. Prince Amukamara is better than Kirkpatrick. I would just say this. They may be on the same level, but I would go with Amukamara because he's a little taller. I prefer the taller guys because we get receivers that are 6'3", 6'4". Should probably get, cornerbacks that are 6 feet tall. I think Drake Kirkpatrick is about 5'9", and that's just for me. Now Logan Ryan to the Titans, that would be interesting. That would be interesting because their secondary, the Titans secondary, was awful last year. Here in Chicago, the game in Chicago, Matt Barkley in the second half of that game threw up and down the field on the Titans. Just went up and down the field. So the Titans, that would make sense. That would make sense if the Logan Ryan went to the Titans. So we'll have to see how that goes. With this. So I'm going to continue here. Terrell Pryor, one of the star wide receivers, is going to be visiting Washington. So they're looking to replace that. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Kirk Cousins because they let Deshaun Jackson go, let Pierre Song go. They got the two tight ends and Vernon Davis, and I don't know if Vernon Davis is a free agent or not, but I know they got Jordan Reed. So we'll see what they do with Kirk Cousins. The Kirk Cousins asked to be traded. Dan Snyder said but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Looks like Torrey Smith is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle, the former San Francisco 49er and former Baltimore Raven. He's going to the Eagles, so that's an interesting one. Former Green Bay Packer Micah Hyde is signed with the Buffalo Bills, so that's one right there. Green Bay gets a little bit weaker in the secondary, and then the kickoff. Oh no, was Micah? Yeah, kickoff return. Jason La Canfora reports that now the Browns are shopping heat. They're shopping Osweiler, all over the league. They're looking to now they were going to cut him. Now they want to trade him and try to get more of them. Let's hear what the NFL Network is saying about my Bears.
Right, yeah. The bottom line is he's going to be released. Interestingly, Andrew, Jay Cutler has been rehabbing that labrum injury here this offseason in the Chicago area. Everything changes now. Mike Glennon is going to become the next starter for the Chicago Bears. I'm more surprised. Nothing really shocks me in this process. It's all quite fascinating. But I'm quite surprised about the Alshon Jeffrey situation. I think the Chicago Bears, in their minds, did the right thing and sort of assessed the market, allowed him to assess the market. And just surprising that Alshon Jeffrey, just for a year, going to Philadelphia for $14 million, I would assume he thought he was worth more. And the Bears... in an estimation from me that Alshon Jeffrey just simply didn't want to be a Chicago Bear. And where does that leave you? When you think about the needs for the Chicago Bears, you think about quarterback, which they've addressed. You think about their secondary. They really need a safety and will certainly address defense with this draft. And then their offensive line, the tackle position, they have all 5 starters back. Grassu is going to be healthy, but that offensive line is still going to be a work in progress. But now it's wide receiver. Just think about Kevin White. I talked to somebody today, Andrew, and Kevin White, entering his 3rd season, he hasn't really played. We know that. The 7th overall pick a couple years ago, and he's been injured. He's rusty. Guys like this that haven't been on the field are rusty. He was supposed to be that guy opposite Alshon Jeffrey before, well after Brandon Marshall left, that would stretch the field and make some big plays. So now you're left with guys like Josh Bellamy, with all due respect. Marquise Wilson, he is a free agent. We don't think Eddie Royal's going to be here. Cameron Meredith. And then Zach Miller, another position, the tight end position, they're going to have to address perhaps in the draft.
Packers will keep linebacker Nick Perry with a 5-year deal. So definitely some stuff. They're not losing everybody up in Green Bay. I'll tell you that right now. Again, this has just been. I love this time of thing, this time of year, where all these new things, you have some hope for your team, something like that. So it is just going to be Mike Trout. Mike Trout, who's the superstar baseball player, tweets out Alshon, hashtag fly equals fly. So he must be an Eagles fan. So, just gotta. His thing is I think that's his wife. That's a pretty woman he's got going there. Okay, so there's an update for the Baltimore Ravens. They tweeted out, "We have reached agreements in principle with the following players: Tony Jefferson, 4 years; Danny Woodhead, 3 years; Ryan Mallett, 1 year." So they are keeping their backup quarterback. They've signed Tony Jefferson from Arizona and Danny Woodhead from San Diego. Danny Woodhead had an injury last year, so I think that might be interesting to see. Um, I'm interested to see what goes on with Danny Woodhead there. Um, but I think this is going to be. We got something breaking here. Oh no, that's something. It's the same thing that we've been talking about with Stephon Gilmore. Just numbers are still coming out as we speak. Stephon Gilmore went from Buffalo to New England. He signed like a $40 million guaranteed deal. So it's it's amazing. Um, so we will have to see what goes on with Logan Ryan, as my friend Alexander Riley said earlier, and we have to see what if with Malcolm Butler, because there's a rumor out there that the New England Patriots are looking to trade Malcolm Butler for Brandon Cooks at New Orleans. So we'll see how that goes and see if anything like that goes out. Poor Alden Smith. He was said here the days before the reinstatement hearing for him, he gets say public intoxication. He gets arrested for public intoxication. So he's got problems with, that's just it's a shame, and I feel bad for him because he's maybe one of the best talents to ever come out of Missouri, was it? Yeah, I think Missouri, and just isn't able to keep himself on the right path. So I feel bad for him. I hope he gets the help he needs. AJ Bouye, who was a Houston Texan last year, he's going to join the Jaguars. 5 years, $67.5 million. Let's see. Boy, let's see this.
When the player doesn't want to be
Let you hear some more
the place that owns his right
of what's going on. We got some ESPN
and the
NFL
team that
Network.
Tony Romo wanted to play for the most, Ed, from what you were hearing, so it seemed would be the Houston Texans. Well, Tony Romo has already posted a goodbye Instagram video on his Twitter feed and Instagram saying it was great. Thank you so much for the Cowboys and all the memories for the 13 seasons there together. And it certainly seems on the surface this was an attempt to clear out Brock Osweiler and clear out cap space so they could make a realistic run at getting Tony Romo to transfer from Dallas to Houston.
Well, we know that Tony Romo's career in Dallas is over. We just don't know exactly when, and we don't know which franchise he'll be playing for next. we came into today fully expecting
Tony Romo goes to Houston.
Because that's
that
what
could
48
be
hours
the
ago,
biggest
Jerry Jones told
threat
Tony
to the
Romo
New England
the phone call
Patriots.
was going to happen.
Because they got a
However,
great
the
defense.
Cowboys
JJ Watt coming
have
back
been
healthy over.
pushing
He's the
Jerry
same.
internally
That young
to be
defense.
patient and
Clowney
try to create
came
some
finally come in the
leverage
rings.
to get
You know
something
they
of
lost
value
AJ
in a
Bouye
trade
at
for
cornerback.
Romo, and he is now
Still,
attempting
that front
to do
that front
exactly
four, that
that,
front seven.
using the interest of the Houston
Man.
Texans and the Denver Broncos. Now, the Houston
And
Texans
you go to the Denver
are the best
Broncos.
fit and the place that Romo
Please.
desires
I mean,
the most.
they were.
And now they
are
have an open
really only
because
Tony
I will
Romo
tell
away
you
from
that I
going
believe a
back
great
to the
deal
Super Bowl, in my
certainty
opinion. That defense
Bill
is still
O'Brien, if he
good.
got
I don't
Tony
think
Romo,
they've lost
did not
anybody
want Brock
this year. They
Osweiler
lost
in
somebody
the
last year,
quarterback
but
room as his backup.
they're a good team
that being
too.
said, I think if you're Jerry Jones, you're smiling right now because Houston has done you a great.
Cleveland's done
you a great service in the fact that you have just taken that quarterback away along with the cap, and now you've opened the door to say we want Tony Romo. And if you're Jerry Jones, you're smiling.
Okay.
You're going, okay.
Pro Football Talk reports Akeem Spitz to Detroit, 3 years, $10.5 million.
Cleveland's all on the come. Unless they make a deal
I
for
don't remember who
quarterback.
Akeem Spitz
But
is.
just to put a capper on it,
I apologize.
if they
I can't give
release
you more on him.
Osweiler, they would have paid $16 million for a second-round pick.
He's getting that money.
Hold on. Okay, sorry, Bill.
If they
You were adamant there, Bill.
if they somehow find a taker, it's not going to be at $16 million. It's going to be the same trade. You pay me to take Brock Osweiler, and you pay the salary. So what would if we were trading? I would say I'll take him at minimum salary, which is about $1 million.
But as we try to piece together this Kirk Cousins thing and figure out what exactly is happening, there are a couple things we need to know. First of all, the Washington Redskins want Kirk Cousins to be their quarterback for the future. That is their goal. That's why they offered him a contract worth over $20 million per year. That happened last week. The problem is that is not his value now. His value is an average of $24 million when you go on the franchise tag. So at this point, they are not close in negotiations, but that is business. As far as football, the Redskins want Kirk Cousins to be their quarterback. The problem is when I talk to Redskins people and I ask them what are they going to do, who are they going to trade for, how they're going to go, the response is always how much they like Colt McCoy, how comfortable they are with Colt McCoy, how they see, Jay Gruden especially, sees so much in Colt McCoy that a lot of other people do not see. So they have a lot of confidence there and certainly seem to be hedging their bets that if Kirk Cousins were to, say, be their starting quarterback this year and then leave for the 49ers in 2018, they believe they would be okay. The other problem is it just doesn't seem like the Niners want to give up everything.
Baltimore Ravens have picked up
and
their team option on wide receiver Mike Wallace. He will be back in the Baltimore Ravens uniform 2017.
Really quick one.
According to the
What is the
Twitter
latest with
page.
Osweiler? Are they shopping him around right now in Cleveland, or are you still hearing that they're going to release him?
Well, they're both. I mean, they're shopping around, but it's
stop here for a minute. Let's focus on my team, the Bears, just for a second here. And a lot of people are very upset that Ryan Pace wasn't able to get some of the names, especially at cornerback. Then get some other things. Some people are upset that maybe they didn't re-sign Alshon Jeffrey as well. I'm okay with it. Here's why I'm okay with it. Because I don't think they were going anywhere, any big time anywhere next year to begin with. So, I really do think that this is going to be like a 5-11, 16-10 year. They'll fire John Fox, and maybe that's better. And we'll have to see what goes on next year. I think what's going to happen is that the Bears are going to sign Mike Glennon, which we've already done, and then they're going to draft a quarterback. I'm hoping they can get DeShone Kizer. If they can't, if they don't think they can get him in the second round pick, trade back him into that first and get him at the bottom of the first. I really do. I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I'm a little biased, but I think DeShone Kizer has what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. Sean Watson's a good choice too. I don't know about Mitchell Trubisky, but I think he's all good too. Diana Rossini from ESPN is reporting the Patriots heard to strike a deal with linebacker Dante Hightower per sources. So, a lot of things going on. People are signing and re-signing their own free agents, and then they're also signing people free agents from other teams. I think is there anything that I missed? We talked about some of the trades that were going to pass, like the Brandon Albert, Julius Thomas deal. Um, so we got here Adam Schefter. Seattle is giving former Jaguars offensive lineman Luke Joeckel 1 year, $8 million deal. So Luke Joeckel goes from Jaguars to Seattle, all the way across the country. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on ESPN. Let you listen to some of that as
$16
well.
million contract?
Let's keep looking through.
I mean, they have to pay me to take him. It's the same trade. They're going to make the very same trade that Houston made with them.
Yeah. All right, let's put a period on this for the moment. We can always come back to it, but let's get everyone caught up on two other quarterback moves. The Bears are releasing Jay Cutler. This also, according to Adam, Cutler was asked for and was granted his release this morning.
Vikings are going to sign tackle Riley Reef. He goes from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings, stays in the same division.
The Bears are expected to sign him to a 3-year, $45 million deal. The agreement was first reported by NFL Network. Sources tell Adam the deal is expected to include $19 million in guarantees.
$19 million in guaranteed money. By the way, according to Adam, would be a great name for this show. Moving forward, we said that on the internet portion of the program.
And now we have
this year as well.
You talked about last hour. We have the Dolphins trade with the Jaguars. Brandon Albert now will be the left tackle for the Jaguars. My understanding is even if they approach him with a restructured contract, he's not going to take a penny less. And Julius Thomas now 2 years, $12.2 million.
And of course, Mike Glennon. Again, we just saw the video there. It looks like he's going to go to the Bears, and Mike Glennon's going to make $19 million. And suddenly,
Osweiler's a deal.
I was thinking.
No. 19 million over 2 is all right.
Yes. By the way, we're just getting warmed up here. When we come back, free agent wide receiver market is heating up. Lots of movement already. We'll delve into that when, according to Adam, returns after this.
So we're finally doing this.
You're finally doing this.
Out with the
Here's a shocker.
In with
the Miami Dolphins.
Make room for your new
I'm going to cut defensive back Abdul Quddus, former Detroit Lion. I'm kind of shocked at that. I thought he played well for them. So, if you haven't heard, the biggest update today is that the Houston Texans somehow got rid of Brock Osweiler, traded him to the Browns, and a second-round pick to the Browns. And apparently the Browns are going to do nothing but cut him. Although there has been rumors that now they won't, maybe now they're changing their mind and they won't cut him. So we're going to see. This is my water. We went up fast and furious. I should have started this, beforehand, so that I could have been talking about stuff as they were happening. I kind of came into this very late, but it is what it is. A lot of stuff. Guys. Apparently on Pro Football Talk, there are 94 stories so far, and the new league year is only 1 hour old. So a lot of things have been happening. Not sure what this means. Jordan Howard, rookie from the Chicago Bears, tweeted out him shaking his head with the letters SMH. So he's not happy about something. Eagles have signed former Titans guard Chance Warmack. So I'm not confuse him with Floyd Porkchop Womack. That's a good name. Floyd Porkchop. So good. So this year we can go here. We can have dueling TVs. As most of you guys know, I've said this a couple times before. I have kind of like this 3 TV set where I have 2 TVs I watch and 1 TV I limit games on, and so I'm kind of gonna go back and forth on both.
A restricted free agent. Meantime, another cornerback getting paid. Texans cornerback, or former Texans cornerback, A.J. Boye, has agreed to a 5-year deal with nearly $68 million, including $26 million fully guaranteed with the Jags. The deal works out to $13.5 million per year.
The Eagles got 2 new receivers, Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey, to help out their second-year quarterback, who I think played very well last year.
Also considered Denver, but will sign a 4-year, $60 million deal with the Jags that includes $30 million guaranteed.
30 years old. Wow. No, 31. 31. But still producing at a very high level down the stretch.
One team said this is the best player in free agency to me this week.
Calais Campbell? Yeah. Well, that's why.
Teams love him, but they had
Remember Calais Campbell?
$30 million.
Oh, wow.
30 years old. Wow. No, 31.
4-year deal, $60 million, $30 million guaranteed for Calais Campbell. Goes from the Arizona Cardinals to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Makes a huge splash on the first.
Jacksonville Jaguars are getting better, aren't they? There's no more. Now, if you guys remember, I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars to be my breakout team this year, and they completely pissed down the well. They just did it. So I'm not going to pick them again. They're going to have to prove it to me. And more importantly, what's his face? Blake Bortles has to prove it to me.
2 incredibly stud down linemen. You have the edge rushers that they believe they have in Fowler. That even said this last year.
Yep, there it is, Coach. There you go.
It's a roster, but it's a team.
You got all your players, you got all your individuals coming from every other team. They all got their egos now because they've all been paid top dollar, and now it takes the coach. Can you get all of them to play as a defensive unit? That's the hard part. You got the ability. These players have the ability. Now they have the bank accounts. Maybe they have, I don't know what type of motivations they have. So it's like, we got to come together as a unit. Can Marone do that?
Well, and this is Todd Wash's defense, and he is one of the coaches that they did keep for hopefully some sort of continuity so they can keep the same system. And now it's a matter of, man, this is a lot of great talent. Can it all mesh?
Good problem to have if you're a coach. You know, you got the players that have the ability.
What makes this season different from last season?
Well, Frank Weiss says here's going to make a difference. He says what does continuity without performance is what? Right. What doesn't matter? Defensively, you know, look, these guys were 6th in defense. Their problem is, we know who it is. It's quarterback.
Blake Bortles. Going to the wrong team.
I mean, we made 29 turnovers. I mean, you don't win in the National Football. By the way,
what makes it different is Blake Bortles playing to a winning level in the National Football League. If that happens, and the offensive line is critical to that part of it. That's what they have to where they have to perform markedly.
And they have to pick up. We'll make a decision on his 5th-year option on May 2nd.
And Luke Jokel, they lost Luke Jokel again. Not a big surprise to Seattle. 1 year, $8 million.
Yeah, he didn't play virtually all last year, so that's no loss.
Someone back from the ACL was Jokel, right?
Correct.
Situation.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So that's the situation to Jacksonville. Once again, big splash. We'll see if that translates.
Did I just say that? You heard it from the experts. Blake Bortles is the person that's going to make the Jacksonville Jaguars go. They can sign everybody they want to. It's all about Blake Bortles. That would be a place for Jay Cutler to end up, I would think. Because if Jay Cutler goes as a backup, actually maybe even though I think Jay Cutler's god-awful, he has talent. He's going to sign somewhere.
That is leaving Washington is going to Tampa Bay and sign with them. That, according to Adam, again, the name of the show. He's joining the Bucs, assuming there are no breakdowns in the final negotiations. And the pairing of Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans, that's a really, really interesting wide receiving pair that Jameis Winston's going to have to play around. It looks like Jacquizz Rodgers is going to be staying there, running back as well. And then the other Washington wideout leaving, Pierre Garçon. The Niners are finalizing a deal with him. That's from Chris Mortensen. Garçon led the NFL in receptions in 2013. His last season, by the way, with current 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, who was his offensive coordinator in Washington. By the way, first time ever 2,000-yard receivers we've had leave one team from the same team. Then Brandon Marshall isn't really going far, but he is moving. He signed that 2-year deal worth $12 million with the Giants. And after getting released by the Jets, we all want to hear about that call. When asked why the Giants, Marshall said it was all about winning championship.
Chris Baker, formerly of the Washington Redskins, have signed on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Doesn't say how long it is, so. The Texans have re-signed their kicker and punter, Shane Lichtler and Nick Novak. I mentioned earlier about the Brandon Cooks trade, New England to New England trading what's the guy's name? Malcolm Butler to I'm getting old, folks. Malcolm Butler to the to the Saints for Brandon Cooks. Justin Lacaford just tweeted, told nothing imminent on the Cooks trade, and Saints definitely value him and have a plan for him if value not there in trade. So. Buffalo Bills have just tweeted out the people that they have signed. Micah Hyde, kicker Stephen Hoshka, fullback Pat DeMarco, offensive lineman Vlad DeCoste, and safety Jordan Poyer. Let's listen to what a little bit some of the people on the NFL Network is saying right now.
Us community. The longer it goes, the more you have to wonder if Romo is trying to force a hand or Jerry Jones is trying to improve his hand at the...
All of which is within their rights.
Sure,
I'm not
absolutely.
judging.
On both of their cases.
Yes, absolutely.
Gamesmanship.
Leverage.
Andrew Siciliano, sir, take it away.
Charlie Casserly, do the Texans want Tony Romo?
Yes, there's no question. There's no question in my mind they have an interest. Now, past the physical, what's the contract going to look like? Those are keys there. Hey, here's the other thing. You can only hold Tony Romo so long because once you start workouts and you have players that are going to be in your facility working out, what happens if he gets injured? Then you're going to pay for it. That was something that always crossed our minds, and every general manager, we have a deadline. We cannot put this player on the field on our property. We can't afford to have him get hurt. So there is a deadline here. It's going to come up in April.
What do you want to pay him?
I have no idea. No, what you
don't want to pay him 14, 15, 16.
Shoot, no, I honestly, I have no clue what to pay this guy. Because you'd like to say it's going to be an incentive-laden contract. Well,
now, see, here it is. I'm the biggest NFL fan there is, right? And I don't remember this guy, but the Falcons are giving defensive lineman Jack Crawford a 3-year deal worth $10.3 million with a $3.5 million cap hit in year one. I have no idea who Jack Crawford was. Is he a Falcons guy or is he someone from somewhere else? Well, listen to this. The Browns will reportedly trade or cut Brock Osweiler. This seems like this was going to happen. Eddie Lacy, Packers free agent running back, is going to visit the Vikings and the Seahawks. He lost some weight. No, you're an idiot. See what the Browns are thinking. NFL Network.
And when this trade first went down, we are in the front lobby here of the Browns building here in Berea, Ohio, and there was a round of applause that came from the team offices above, and I thought, boy, they really love analytics here. And I was told that was just coincidental. That had nothing to do with the trade. But this trade was not about Brock Osweiler. It was about that second-round pick, Andrew. And that's what the Browns are trying to do. And they are compiling picks going forward. They made their moves in free agency, but this is all about setting this team up for the future. Look, they've had a quick trigger when it's come to general managers and coaches in recent history, but it is clear that they are behind Sashi Brown as general manager and behind Hugh Jackson as head coach, not just for the short term here, but for the long term, and they are building it up with a number of draft picks in the near future, including the one that they got for Brock Osweiler, a second-round pick that they pretty much, frankly, just paid for by taking on Brock Osweiler's side.
Which is another issue to keep an eye on as we move forward here as the Browns kind of rearrange these deck chairs. By the way, clearly you were not a member of the math team in high school. The math team threw pretty good parties, Garoppolo. You shouldn't be laughing at the math team upstairs.
I actually scored higher on math than I did verbal on the SAT.
Meth? Did you say meth?
Because I'm a writer by
you meant to say math. I felt like you said meth.
And there's a YouTube video out there of me screwing up math on live television.
I've
funny.
seen it.
Yeah, you should take a look. By the way, the Browns did good math today on the O-line, didn't they?
Well, they did a lot of math on the O-line, and Kevin Zeitler, their guard, is now the highest paid guard in the league at $12 million per year. And he's got a history with Hugh Jackson dating back to their days in Cincinnati. And the Browns looked at it and said, when do you get a chance to bring a guy in who has history with your head coach and is entering the prime of his career? They saw it there. That's why they were willing to pay.
Kevin Zeitler, guard, 5-year, $60 million contract with the Browns.
From the Packers Rodgers. He will be their new starting center. He's been a versatile guy for Green Bay. He was banged up last year. That's why he lost his job to Corey Linsley, and that made him available on the market. They snatched him up as well, and they re-upped Joel Bitonio. I don't know why I'm calling him Joel. He's not Joel Embiid. Joe Bitonio to a 5-year, $51 million extension. They did make a run yesterday to try to get Tony Jefferson.
Things are slowing down right now. Like I said, I probably should have did this earlier. Let's go.
Well, he's 25. These are some young players. That's the player that you want to try to add to your roster at this point.
Yeah, this is truth day. I like to say it, but based on the moves that teams are making, and you're getting the truth here on Malcolm Butler for New England. Right? You signed Stephon Gilmore. Butler, is it already known that you can't sign him to that deal that he wanted? You weren't able to make that deal, so you see this possibly as Malcolm Butler's last year in New England, so try to get something for him before he's out the door.
Don't forget, when you talk about any trade involving Malcolm Butler, the team that is acquiring him is going to have to, not only is going to have to sign his vendor, he's going to have to agree to a long-term contract. They're not trading anything of value for a guy they're only going to have for 1 year.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense
to be understood.
It is interesting, though, because what we're hearing about this possible trade, you have Patriots.
Redskins to sign DJ Swearinger. DJ Swearinger was a defensive back from the Arizona Cardinals, now going to the Washington Redskins.
Brandon Cooks can be only back in the junior. Has more 30-yard touchdown passes since 2014. Brandon Cooks and Deshaun Jackson tied for 11 each. Second place in the league over that time.
Yeah, you can totally understand why New Orleans is thinking this, regardless of the fact that maybe he has to get out of there, and that he's the one.
The Eagles have cut linebacker Connor
Barwin. Have to round out their football.
Connor Barwin.
Valuable piece to move, regardless of how tough of a pill it may be to swallow.
And to just put a cap on the Patriots too, they made their living kind of on the middle class, and this seems like an out-of-character start to free agency.
Well, they're usually not the team that jumps headfirst into free agency. And again, I think you have to consider some of the other moves that they also made last year. They traded a 4th-round pick to the Bears for Martellus Bennett and a 6th-round pick. This year, they traded a 4th-round pick to the Colts for Dwayne Allen.
The only two big moves I remember, Roosevelt Colvin, there was a pass rusher. Delius Thomas, there was a pass rusher, this time cornerback.
Well, they got to leave, right? That was when they were genuine league.
Well, but I'm just saying, you know, when it accomplished that makes sense, they'll play, they'll do it, just like everybody else.
The Randy Moss trade.
Yeah.
No.
That was undrafted.
But in terms of
that's a trade.
Day one free agency deals, they targeted Rosie. They want him, they got him right off the bat. Delius and now Gilmore.
We'll see what happens in New England and whether or not this trade comes to fruition. We are just warming up here on our free.
All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me right now. Like I said, it's kind of slowed down right now, but what I'm gonna do is that I've started doing a podcast, Friday podcast, and tomorrow we're gonna break down as much as we can. Only 15 minutes. We're gonna break down as much as we can tomorrow for my podcast. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube so that you guys can hear it. But as for today, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming in and commenting. I appreciate it so much. This is your boy AJ Trip. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to A2020. And also, if you're a gamer, A2020 Gaming, very much appreciate it. That's it for me this evening. At least on the live stream, Rapid Reaction, Free Agency Frenzy. Here on A2020. I'm going to say A2020 Gaming. Here on A2020. Alright, y'all. I'm out.